My name is William. I'm 67 years old, and I've been thinking about something I only recently understood.
It's about my wife, Catherine. We were married for 41 years. She died 3 years ago this November. People always said we had a good marriage, and we did. We really did. But I don't think we ever loved each other the same way at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense yet. It didn't to me either for most of my life. I met Catherine when I was 26. She was 23. It was at a friend's wedding, which feels almost too predictable to say out loud now. I asked her to dance during a slow song I can't remember the name of anymore. Something soft, something forgettable. But I remember my hand on her back. I placed it very gently, like I was asking permission even though she'd already said yes. I felt in that moment that this was right. She talked a lot. She was cheerful, the kind of person who filled silences because she was afraid of them. I was the opposite, quiet, steady, the kind of person who listened more than he spoke. We got married 2 years later in a small church with maybe 60 people. She wore her mother's veil. I wore a suit I borrowed from my brother. It was simple. It was enough. In the beginning, she loved me loudly. She wanted to be close all the time. She wanted to know what I was thinking, what I was feeling, what worried me when I stared out the window in the mornings. She'd ask me constantly, "What are you thinking about?" And I'd smile and say, "Nothing, really." I knew that answer wasn't enough, but I didn't know what else to say. I was never good with words. I never learned how to pull the things inside me out into the open. So I did other things instead. I woke up early and made coffee. I spent time in the garden, trying to grow tomatoes that never came out quite right. I fixed things around the house that needed fixing. I thought that was enough. We had 2 daughters, Sarah and Claire. Catherine was amazing with them. She knew how to talk to them, how to understand them. I tried. When Sarah scraped her knee, Catherine would panic. I'd sit quietly and clean the wound, not saying much, just humming under my breath. Sarah always calmed down faster with me. I thought that meant I was doing something right.
But somewhere in the middle of all that, maybe year 10, maybe year 15, Catherine started to pull back. I don't think she did it on purpose. I don't think it was conscious, but she stopped asking me questions. She stopped trying to pull me toward her. She focused on the girls, on her job, on book club, and volunteering at the school, and repainting the living room twice, because she couldn't decide on the color. She built a life that didn't require me to open up, and I let her, because honestly, it was easier. We still loved each other. I need to be clear about that. We never fought, not really. We said I love you every night before bed. We held hands sometimes when we walked. But it was quiet. It was like we'd both agreed, without ever saying it, that this was enough. Then, about 5 years before she died, I started to realize something. I was losing her. Not to another person, not to distance, but to time. To the slow, quiet way people drift apart when they stop really seeing each other. And for the first time in my life, I felt terrified. I started asking her questions. Small ones at first. What are you reading? Do you still want to visit that place we talked about? The one in Maine. What did you think of the movie? She'd answer, but I could see the confusion in her eyes. Like she was wondering why I was suddenly so curious after all these years. And she was right to wonder. It was late. Too late, maybe. One night, I remember this clearly. We were sitting on the porch. It was summer, the kind of evening where the air is thick and the cicadas are so loud you almost can't hear yourself think. I turned to her and said, "I don't think I've been a very good husband." She looked at me. Her face was lit by the porch light. She looked older than I expected. She said, What are you talking about? Of course you have. I shook my head. No, I mean, I think I made you feel alone, and I didn't mean to. She didn't say anything for a long time. Then she said, very quietly, I made you feel alone too. I just didn't realize it. After that conversation, I started trying. Really trying. I left her notes. Not long ones, just small things. Went to the store. Love you. Coffee's ready. Thinking of you, I'd leave them on the counter, on her pillow, tucked into the book she was reading. I didn't know if it mattered, but I hoped it did. She started trying too. She asked me questions again, different ones this time. Do you remember the first time we came to the cabin? What's your favorite memory of the girls? What do you think about when you're in the garden? And I answered, not in long speeches, that was never my way, but I answered. I told her I remembered the first time we came to the cabin because it rained the whole weekend, and we played cards with the girls until they fell asleep on the floor. I told her my favorite memory was Sarah's 8th B when she asked me to teach her how to ride a bike, and I ran behind her for 2 hours until my legs hurt. I told her the garden made me feel calm, that I liked the repetition of it, the way things grew even when I didn't do much. She listened, really listened, and I realized, watching her, that she'd always been trying too, just not in the way I needed, and I'd been trying, just not in the way she needed. She wanted words, conversations, closeness that felt like heat. I wanted presence, stillness, a closeness that felt like safety, and for 40 years, we loved each other in 2 different languages without realizing it. When she got sick, it happened fast. Ovarian cancer. By the time they found it, there wasn't much they could do. 6 months, they said, maybe a year if we were lucky. We got 8. In those 8 months, I learned more about her than I had in 4 decades. Not because she suddenly became someone different, but because I finally started listening the way she'd always needed me to. I stopped staying quiet. I started telling her things, small things at first. I love the way you hum when you're cooking. I've always admired how good you are with people. I think about you constantly, even when we're in the same room. She'd cry sometimes when I said these things, and I'd hold her hand and wish I'd said them 30 years earlier. One afternoon, near the end, we were sitting in the living room. She was in the recliner. I was on the couch. The TV was on, but neither of us was watching. She looked at me and said, I wish I'd known how to love you better. I moved to sit beside her. I took her hand. I said, you did love me. You loved me the whole time. I just didn't know how to receive it. She smiled, that same gentle smile from the wedding reception. She said, you tried so hard. I see that now. She died 3 weeks later, at home, in our bed, with me beside her. Her last words were, thank you. I didn't ask what for. I just said I love you. And she squeezed my hand, at home, in our bed, with me beside her. Her last words were, thank you. I didn't ask what for. I just said, I love you. And she squeezed my hand. I've been alone now for 3 years. The house feels different, quieter, obviously, but not in the way I expected. I thought I'd feel her absence like a weight. And I do sometimes, but mostly I feel her in the small things. The tomatoes still grow every summer, even though I don't tend them the way I used to. I still find her notes sometimes, tucked into books I haven't opened in years. Little things she wrote to me near the end. I see you. Thank you for trying. I love you more than I ever said. I think about the night on the porch a lot. When I told her I didn't think I'd been a good husband, I wish I'd understood sooner that she was exactly the wife I needed. I just didn't know it until I was losing her, I think. We do that, don't we? We love people the way we know how, and we hope it's enough. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. And sometimes it's both. I don't think Catherine and I had a perfect marriage. We misunderstood each other for a long time. We missed each other even when we were in the same room. But we didn't give up. We kept trying, in our own ways, until we finally started to understand. And maybe that's what love is. Not finding someone who speaks your language perfectly from the start, but learning theirs and letting them learn yours, even if it takes 40 years. I miss her. I miss the sound of her humming in the kitchen. I miss the way she'd reach for my hand when we'd walk, like it was the most natural thing in the world. I miss the way she'd look at me, like I was something worth paying attention to. But I don't regret our marriage. Not anymore. Because in the end, we figured it out. We loved each other in different ways, but we loved each other, and that's more than a lot of people get. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Maybe because I wanted to say it out loud. Maybe because I think someone else out there is living in the middle of what I lived through. Loving someone who doesn't love the way you do. Wondering if it's enough. If you are, I can't tell you what to do. I don't have advice. But I can tell you this. It takes time to understand someone. Real time. The kind you can't rush, and sometimes you don't get enough of it. But if you do, don't wait as long as I did. Thank you for listening. I don't know if this helped, but if it did, or if it made you think of someone, you can leave a comment or not. Either way, I hope you're okay.